everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina. I am a clinical nutritionist focusing on holistic health, plant-based nutrition, and deep tissue cleansing. Now in the last video, I went over EMFs and smart meters and how EMFs are harmful to you and how smart meters can be harmful to your health as well. So I hadn't received my testing meters yet, which I did, and I've been doing some testing. I did go out of town over the weekend, but I had one of my meters with me and I was testing around the hotel rooms. The results were not very good. I'll get into just a little bit so far what I've tested and the conclusions I've come up with, but I'm going to continue to keep testing and sharing my results with you guys. So a lot of people were interested in this, and I'll tell you which meters I bought. When I say meters, I mean testing meters, and which ones I like and all of that stuff. So let's get straight into it. I have the GQ EMF 390. That's the one that I received first. It still has a plastic covering on it. This one I was using in my hotel room when I went to Vegas over the weekend, and I tested the smart meter and a bunch of other stuff. The other day, I finally received the Cornet ED88T Plus. This one has a lot of really good reviews. It's a little bit more expensive. I think this one's about $200 and the GQ is about $150. I'll link both of them below. And they both can detect all three different kinds of waves. When I was studying this, they say you should probably just get one for radio frequencies, one for electromagnetic frequencies, and one for electrical frequencies. But that's about $1,000 that you're gonna spend. So I was thinking maybe I'll just get two of the best ones that do all three and just compare the results. Now I'm kind of thinking I want to get the Acousticom 2, I think it's called, and that just measures radio frequencies very well. So you can tell there is no one meter that can measure all three very well, but I'm working with what I got right now and I'm sharing with you guys. So I don't really know which one I like better at this point. I haven't used the Cornet as much since I've only had it for about a day or two. So I'd like to experiment more and then I'll let you know which one I like best. Okay, first of all, when I took the GQ to Vegas, what I realized was even just driving to Vegas and being in Vegas, there are cell phone towers, the new technology. Can't even really say it because it's a whole thing right now, but the new technology, cell phone towers, the big scary ones are everywhere. Everywhere. My girlfriend and I were feeling nauseous and headaches and just really off when we're around them. You know, we made the best of it. We had a really good time, but they're everywhere. So I brought this with me in our hotel, and when I turned it on, the radio frequencies were pretty much pulsing all day, 24 hours a day in that hotel room because there's cell phone towers everywhere. There's Wi-Fi going through the hotel, you know, in every single room. As a flight attendant on private jets, I was traveling at least 2 weeks every month, and I was staying in hotels more than I was staying at home. So sleeping in those types of rooms with terrible radio frequencies all night, not good. That's probably why I feel better being at home, especially after testing the frequencies and knowing, okay, how can I make my sleeping environment better? That's more in my control than sleeping in a hotel room, obviously. I feel better in that sense, but also there's just so much more radiation and so many more cell phone towers that have been put up even just while we've been in quarantine that I can't say I feel great, but at least I'm testing things and I know what's going on and how to make my sleeping environment better. Now, another thing I realized was, sure, we're concerned about the Wi-Fi and all that, but our laptops and cell phones have such bad radio frequencies. It's scary. And we're carrying these around all day. I was already turning my phone on airplane mode off at night for the past at least 5 years. I also had it off during the day, maybe 20% of the time. Now, I kid you not, my phone is on airplane mode about 90 to 95% of the time. I just don't need that thing blasting radiation on me all day. Call me crazy, whatever, but I do feel better. I'm actually filming with my phone right now, so I can't show you, but maybe I'll insert some clips throughout this video and show you right when you open the laptop, it just goes through the roof. Opening up the laptop, it already starts beeping, so it's 382, 84, it just keeps pulsing. Really not good, especially when you open up applications. We're around this all the time. On our phones are even worse. My phone's on airplane right now and I'm gonna keep it off as much as possible. We just need to be aware of what we're surrounding ourselves with. I also posted a highlight on my Instagram that shows the EMF testing. So I just started that. I'll link my social media below so you can find my Instagram there and check out the EMF testing highlight story. In conclusion with the testing, cell phones, laptops, the Roku wireless was also really bad. And as expected, the Wi-Fi router was terrible, really, really bad. You should not be sitting next to a Wi-Fi router or working next to one if you can avoid that at all costs. They have these Wi-Fi router cages. I don't know what they're made out of, some kind of metal that protects. I want to look up some reviews and maybe buy one so I can test and see if that improves. I have a bunch of orgonite crystals all throughout my room. I mean, every corner of my bed, I have these little guys. I have these pyramids that are made from orgonite and are supposed to help too. I did some testing with them. I didn't see any super promising results, which is discouraging, but I also don't have a meter that's just dedicated to radio frequencies. So that's kind of why I want to get the Acousticom 2 to see just the radio frequencies and how they're affected with orgonite. And I have another pyramid over here. I have about 12 of these little guys. I have a bunch. I'm really into crystals, but I also am really into protecting my health against electromagnetic frequencies and radio frequencies. On to the smart meters. I got the electric smart meter changed out to analog, and I hadn't received my meters, my testing meters yet by the time they had switched out the smart meter to an analog meter. So I didn't get the before reading, but I did go to my sister's house down the street to get her reading on her smart meter. First, I tested the analog meter here. Now, radio frequencies on the analog meter were good. They were very low, nothing to be concerned about. But the electrical and the electromagnetic frequencies were through the roof, very alarming. The EMFs were crazy. It's supposed to be like 2.5 is a safe level or below. It was at almost 200 at some point. I haven't seen anything with that high of an EMF reading except for my high-powered blender. My Blendtec was like 400 while it was on high speed, which was kind of crazy. So just try not to like chill by the blender when you're blending things up with a high-powered blender. Luckily, that's just on for a little bit, but the smart meter's on all day. So I thought that was really weird. I'm like, did I just trade in one evil for another? Basically, the radio frequencies are low now, but the EMFs are super high, and the electrical frequencies were high, but I figured that's because that's the main source of electricity. So I didn't really pay too much attention to that one. I walked towards my sister's house. I got it on video. I'll see if I can put some of that in here too. Okay, this is the gas meter at my mom's. Put that up to it. Looks pretty good. No beeping is a good sign. Now, we're gonna move over to the smart meter, which has been switched out as of yesterday to analog. Those top numbers are not good. Bottom number is good. The radio frequencies are very low. I wish I would have seen what they were yesterday, but we're gonna see at my sister's house down the street what her RF levels are on her smart meter. So this is actually not a smart meter, it's just technically an analog electricity meter. But these top two numbers I am concerned about, that's why they're blinking. I wonder if there's a way to block them, because the one on the left, top left, should be, I don't know, maybe less than 50, and the top right should be about 2.5. If you come back over here, 2.3 on the top right, less than 10 on the top left. I was walking towards my sister's house. There are big power lines over here. Her house is closer to the power line, so as I was walking, the electricity frequency was going way up, which is expected because she's closer to the power lines. The number is jumping up because there's those electricity lines running through there. Let's see how high it gets. So we're at 355. 387. Then I got to her smart meter. Now, like I said, I have analog, radio frequencies are low, EMFs were super high. I get to her smart meter. her radio frequencies are pulsing every couple seconds. So there are radioactive waves, radio frequencies coming through her smart meter as expected. It wasn't as high as the Wi-Fi router, but it's still not great to have that pulsing through all day. But her EMFs on her meter were normal, which is very weird. Okay, here is the smart meter. So it just had a surge of 35. That's how they work. They just go through surges. The top right number is much lower. So I'm concerned about switching out to analog, why the EMF number is so high. I talked to a bunch of my electrician friends, tried to get to the bottom of this. Nobody seems to know much about EMFs, RFs, any of these types of things, even the people that install these meters. I was talking to the gas meter guy yesterday. He had no idea. He said less than 1% of people opt out of this, and he doesn't even understand why. And I told him all about this. I brought my other meter out, the Cornet that I just received, and I was showing him, and he was like, oh, whoa, I never knew about this. So people just aren't aware. And that's why I'm hoping that we can get this message across, just to take better care of ourselves and be more familiar with what's coming through in our environment with new technology. Technology can be very good and it can be very helpful, but we have to know that the human tissue isn't meant to take that type of frequencies. I mean, when you hold it, it heats up your tissues. So I think they make these little mitts, these little gloves that you can pick up your cell phone with and type on your laptop so it doesn't just burn through your skin. Sounds a little crazy, but I would actually consider getting that. I mean, after you start testing, you're like, whoa, I don't need my cell phone on all the time. I don't need to open up my laptop. When I'm working on my laptop and I don't absolutely need the internet, I just turn the Wi-Fi off. The RFs go way, 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 way down. I don't want the headaches, the nausea, brain fogginess, exhaustion. I'm not saying I won't get it at all, because again, I can only control my personal environment as much as possible. But when I'm out or when I'm on vacation or driving around near all these towers, I can't control that. I'm doing what I can. Now, as far as the gas meter goes, I didn't have that one changed out yet. The guy came yesterday and said, hey, I noticed that I don't have the right parts. I need to leave and go get it. And so I said, well, let me just talk to you for a second. The gas meter looks like an analog meter, and I tested the radio frequencies and everything, and it doesn't seem, he's probably like, who is this lady? And it doesn't seem very bad at all. And he said, yeah, it's an analog meter, but the smart meter part of it on the gas meters are the covering. The covering has these little detectors, and he said they only send out information to the company 4 times a day. So it only pulses 4 times a day, which makes sense because when I'm standing there for, 5 minutes at a time, I'm not getting any bad readings at all. So if it's only happening 4 times a day, every 6 hours or so, it might not be worth changing out. You definitely can, but he didn't even have the parts with him. I wanted to talk to my mom first to see if she wanted, because this is her house, so I wanted to see if she wanted that meter changed out. I said, you know what, let's hold off on it then. It's only 4 times a day. The electric one was just going off every couple seconds, just all day pulsing radiation, right? He said, no problem. If you change your mind, just let me know. I'll come right back. And I said, okay, cool. So I haven't changed out the gas smart meter. And again, it's just the covering over it. But the electric meter is analog, and I did test it, and the EMFs again are super high. So if anybody knows why the electromagnetic frequencies are super high on an analog meter, but the radio frequencies are low, please leave in a comment below and let me know. I would love to get to the bottom of this. I know there are EMF specialists out there, and I'm considering finding one in my area, or at least finding one to talk to, maybe an online consultation or something. If anybody knows of any, please let me know in the comments below as well. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start researching and find somebody in my area or someone that can help me here, because I'm sure they know the answer to that question. Somebody's gotta know. I'm not doing that much research right now, because sitting in front of a laptop and seeing how much radiation is just getting pulsed through the whole time, I've kind of laid off a little bit on the research for a little while. I just am choosing the doses that I'm gonna get throughout the day. I've put the research on hold a little bit, but I'll get back into it, just not for hours at a time. I am a big researcher, but I'm gonna have to maybe do it old school and like actually look up information in books like we used to back in the day. I'll let you know if I end up ordering the Meter II, I believe it's called, the RF meter. And again, I have the Cornet and the GQ. I'll post both of them below if you're interested in picking one up and checking out your sleeping environment or living environment. Oh, also, as expected, the microwave went crazy too, but I never use a microwave. I don't think I've used a microwave in over 10 years. How do you even work this thing? What do you mean? Hold on, it's crazy. But I think my mom does once in a while. So if you do ever use a microwave, stand back, stay away from that. Honestly, you don't really want to be radiating your food anyways. It just kills all the enzymes or anything good in it. But if you can avoid the microwave, highly recommend. Keep you guys posted on more testing. If you want to see me do specific tests, let me know. I hope that this information is helpful. Please consider subscribing if you want to stay tuned for more videos like this. I will be posting another one next week about how to build your immune system and keep it strong. Right now, it's more important than ever. I have spent the past decade plus building my immune system to be really strong. And at times like this, it's important to keep it strong, especially with all this radiation that's around us. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I will see you next week. Let me know if you have any questions below. Stay healthy and stay safe.